Hello, I'm Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Oral Gibbs Live. I have a guest that definitely is not a stranger to the entire world. So, wow, who the hell is that? You're going to find out when I come back right here on the Oral Gibbs Live. Let me tell you about the sponsors. Windward Islands Bank, the Windward Islands Bank in Phillipsburg, in Cul-de-Sac, and also in Simpson Bay. The Windward Island Bank for all your banking needs, and GEBE, our local water and electricity company. GEBE, serving St. Martin for over 6 decades. Is GEBE. And I'm Oral Gibbs, and before you meet my guest, let me remind you that if you want to know when we upload a show or when we are streaming live, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Oral Gibbs YouTube channel, and then you'll know before anyone. Or you can see us on Facebook or listen to us on Hot 99.9 FM radio station located on the strip right here in Simpson Bay. And my guest this evening, well, I've known him all my life. We went to school together. We were in class together. The man himself, Mr. Leroy Brooks, better known as King Bobo. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Red. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Good to have you here, man. You are a phenomenon when it comes to Calypso and St. Martin, you know?
Yes.
I always tell people that, and this gets me in trouble, you're the first Calypsonian I know that survived off of the music. So you were singing, performing in hotels, nightclubs. Am I correct?
That's correct. Well, locally, St. Martin.
Locally, yeah,
Yes,
right,
yes,
right.
absolutely.
So how things going?
Great. It's can't complain. Life is good. I mean, you know, how they say? Somebody always have it worse than you, so you can't complain.
That's true.
Yeah, everything is good.
That's nice. So you're here today to speak about SCAF. SCAF is the
SCAF
acronym
is
for...
Yeah, SCAF is the Swaliga Calypso Artiste Foundation.
Swaliga
Calypso
Calypso.
Artiste Foundation.
So not Calypso, Calypso.
Calypso, yeah.
Any reason for that?
In discussion with our board, we decided to make the name attractive.
Okay.
Calypso would have been a little long, and the SC was. We felt it was starting to border across the Carnival Committee's slogan, which was SCDF. So, in an effort to avoid any confusion and any misunderstandings, we stuck with the K for Calypso instead of C for Calypso. But it in essence means the same thing.
And there's a Calypsonian in St. Martin that use that in the name, right? Calypso.
Calypso,
Brat
right.
is one.
Calypso Brat, that's right.
Yeah.
Calypso Genius.
There's a lot of them. But that is that St. Martin expression or original?
The Calypso, to the best of my knowledge, that originates out of Trinidad. It was just a short name for the word Calypso.
Okay, I want to steal it and say it was ours, but it's not.
It's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing when you look at the music. I remember as a young boy listening to Calypsonians, and it was horrible. When you listen to Antigua and you listen to Trinidad, it was good.
Yeah.
You can't say that anymore.
Not anymore. We've come of age. We've grown. We have learned.
Yeah.
You know, we've come a long way, and it has a lot to do with Trinidad and Antigua and St. Vincent and all those other islands.
But you hold a record in some areas, right?
Where Calypso is concerned, yes.
Yeah.
Where Road March is concerned, I get beat up bad. But with Calypso, I hold at present 12 Calypso crowns locally.
And that's the most out of all the local Calypso.
That's the most, seconded by my brother, Calypso Brat, who holds 10. Yes, I know he don't like when I go on the air and I brag about it, but you know, maybe in the next 5 years from now, he holds 13 and I still at 12. So let me enjoy my little lead for now.
You see yourself still performing down the road?
Oh, Calypso? Yeah, Calypso I will never stop, because Calypso, unlike Road March, it doesn't take as much physical energy as Road March.
You gotta do more.
Takes more brain.
Yeah. So you still perform in the hotels and so forth?
I prefer to sing on a smaller level, but I do still, on occasion, perform at some of the hotels. It's nothing like it used to be in the past, but then generally speaking, tourism in general is not as as hyped at the resorts as like it used to be in the past.
But man, you put on a show, man. Unbelievable.
Love it.
Yeah.
God, a gift from God. People say God don't support Calypso. Well, I beg to differ because it's only God gave me that kind of a love for the art form and energy to produce what I produce.
So now that you're vice president of SCAF, right? What are some of the issues the foundation is confronted with?
Well, SCAF is pretty new. We just started our first meeting was about 2 years ago. And we've been meeting over the last 2 years trying to get SCAF up off of the ground. The general idea behind SCAF is to revitalize, re-energize, and keep alive the art form of Calypso. We even had some discussions where we were looking for a slogan. We did not complete the slogan as yet, but a couple of slogans were Calypso Alive, that was one. Another one was Keep Calypso Alive. And it was all based around the survival of the art form of Calypso. Because Calypso, some people say it's a dying art. We totally disagree with that. But it is a challenging art where it's like it's a particular type of audience who really loves the art form. I have to say that the newer generation, if they hear Calypso on the radio, they're quick to change the channel, so to speak.
Yeah.
So our intention is not just to keep it alive, but to instill it in the minds of the generations that are younger and hopefully generations yet to come.
But do you think that education play a role there in Calypso?
I want to say yes, because there are several forms of Calypso. Social commentary, which people call political Calypso, comedy, commentary, sarcasm or satire, whichever one you want. To produce a real good Calypso, though, it requires, I don't want to use a form of, I don't want to use the word intelligence, but it requires a form of upper level thinking, because if you cannot think at the upper level, your Calypso can never survive. And then we have good Calypsos and we have bad Calypsos, and that's a clear example of the two.
The reason I asked that question, I think you went to Hofstra University, right?
I went to Hofstra University in New York. Yeah.
You think that made a difference in your life and how you...
I think yes, it did. But I do have to say, when I went to Hofstra, I was already, to me, established in my knowledge of the art form of Calypso. I went to Hofstra where I furthered my knowledge of music. But of course, Hofstra is a university where all subjects are required. You can't go in there and study music. You're going to college, you have to follow the subjects.
Right.
But you have a major. And I majored in music, and I minored a bit in communications, because you also need to be able to communicate. So, but if Hofstra played a role in my career, musically, absolutely. In my younger days, I made some songs, of which two I made in Hofstra. One was Broken Down, and one was Have News Will Travel. And if you listen to them, to the musical patterns, you'll realize it's not Calypso. It's music of a different level, and it was derived from my knowledge of music in Hofstra University.
And it's strange, sometimes it can help and sometimes it can hurt. Right?
Exactly. Well, I made it my business to make sure it helped.
So now, how long are you performing now?
Oh, gee. I remember going to Orania School on Front Street, and on Saturdays in the afternoon, I think I could have been 11, 12 years old, we would go up to Fort Amsterdam at PJ82 and sing on the Big Brother and Big Sister show, which was Miss Josiane Arts and Fleming and Dave Douglas from Tortora.
Yeah.
And I remember singing "Sitting in the Morning Sun," and I consider personally I started singing then, from back then. So
Wow, it's a long time.
very long time.
And so when you speak to Calypsonians today, right? What do you hear from them? What they want SCAF to do for them, in a way?
Well, first and foremost, when SCAF was founded, we had a meeting with. We opened the meeting to all Calypsonians on St. Martin, and to our pleasant surprise, pretty much every single Calypsonian on St. Martin, everybody.
Wow.
And to this day, they're all members. We don't meet with the general membership as often, but we do have a board and we meet regularly. And generally speaking, the Calypsonians want the Calypso to survive, to be alive. But most importantly, they would like the respect that is due to them, where Calypso is concerned.
When you say respect, can you elaborate on that a little?
Yeah, a lot of them feel that Calypso is not respected.
Really?
Yeah, they don't feel that the art form is respected. The airplay is not there from the radio stations. We get a little play around carnival time, and that's it. When there's this big ongoing problem, which over the years it has eased up, but there was this big ongoing problem between the Calypsonians and the SCDF, St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation, where the Calypsonians felt that the respect given by the St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation was not serious towards Calypso. It was like, Calypso is a second-class thing. If you all sing, you sing. If you don't sing, no problem. We'll just, life goes on, you know. And the Calypsonians were genuinely hurt because Calypsonians feel in general, and so do I, that Calypso is Carnival and Carnival is Calypso. Other than Steel Pan, to the best of our knowledge, back in the day, Carnival consisted of Steel Pan and Calypso.
Right.
And over the years, Carnival has become so commercialized that Calypso has taken somewhat of a second, I wouldn't even say second place, third place. And the Calypsonians would like to see that change and go back to its original form of Carnival, Calypso, hand in hand.
Do you think that's going to be very difficult seeing where we are today with our carnival?
I think it's going to be difficult. I don't think it's unachievable, but I think it's going to be difficult. But we as SCAF are willing to fight that fight, you know, because it's up to us. If we don't fight it, then it you know, it can't survive. Another challenge that we're faced with is the generation that loved to come to the Carnival Village to listen to us has dwindled over the years.
They're older, right?
They're older. This year we had the Calypso competition, and the chairs were out there, and we had, you know, some seniors. They came out with their heart and soul to support us. But I can remember in my earlier years, in the early 80s, you know, the Carnival Village was standing capacity. And, you know, people ask why they don't support Calypso like they used to. I mean, you know, well, I don't go to the beach on Sundays like I used to because you become older. Life is not the same.
But could it be too that the rivalry isn't there? Like in your days, man, it was a shutdown and on the radio and television. That's not there anymore.
That's also true. We've grown to come to respect each other to the point where we don't hit each other like we used to. You know, we used to love to hit each other. Even when we hit each other today, it's not the same. You know, we hold back certain things, we hold back certain words. And I think also the generation that has aged, they ain't too much like to hear us beating up on each other like before. You'll hear them say, I must live in peace, I must live like brothers, live like sisters, you know. So that's one of the challenges that we are faced with.
But you know, it's, when I listen to the lyrics from all of you, even the late, I think Greg and Timo and everyone, and you go back, you focus back to, say, the 80s, we have the same problems today in 2022.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you all would deal with the issues then that are still existing today.
Still existent today. And you know, OG, we will continue to confront the issues, but back then, when you sing a political song, after you would hear the public saying, lash them up, I mash them up good. That's not the feeling I get nowadays. You know, you hear more, oh, you come back with this political song again. I can't sing nothing different to politics. Everything is politics, you know. So
That what they're saying?
well, not everyone, but that's one of the
People,
challenges
yeah.
we deal with. And then there are those who want you to be clear and explicit on when you're singing a song, who you're singing it about, what you're singing it about. They don't want you to put it in a nutshell. For example, let's just draw a reference. GB's currently in the media. It's been in the media for quite a while.
Right.
They don't want to hear, oh, GB got problems. No, they want to hear, this person in GB went and did this black bite and ordered a black bite and got a car. That's what they want to hear.
Yeah.
You know, and that's nice. I mean, it's Calypso. But, yeah, we have our second thoughts about that because I've seen one or two of my colleagues in the Calypso pay a dear price for going down that road. You know, so.
Yeah. And they're small communities, so you have to be kind of
Exactly.
cautious. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, how you see the road for young Calypsonians coming up? Because when I look around, man, your generation and the one before and the one just after, great. But I'm not seeing the more new Calypsonians anymore.
Exactly. It has dropped.
Yeah.
When you say the generation, I don't know if you follow it, but on a day when I don't have much to do, I'll go on YouTube and I'll go back. Calypso 1924.
Wow.
In, you know, Calypso 1900.
Yeah.
I mean, OJ, if you look at that stuff, it's amazing. And, you know, and then it went up to Lord Melody and Mighty Sparrow and Lord Nelson. And then it, I don't want to say came down, then it went across to Crazy and David Rudder and then, you know, the Marshall Montano and the newer generation. But as you go along, you realize that, I don't want to say stepping down, but the interest has dropped a lot. So we have been trying, we did in the past, we had where the seniors would write for the juniors, rest and bless her soul, Calypso Barbara. Right. That was her niche, that was her favorite thing. Brat wrote for them, I wrote, you know, Brat wrote for Fox, I wrote for Oscar, Barbara wrote for Koto and for a lot of other children. And that was an era there that the junior Calypso competition was a big attraction. And then, you know, it faded out. We lost, I don't want to say we lost interest, we lost participation, so there was nobody to write for, and then that dropped. We've tried as CAF, or we are in the process as CAF, to try to bring it back alive by going into the schools, you know, and sharing some classes with the youngsters and see who we could get excited and interested to try to bring it back. That in itself also is a process. So.
But then you also had some new guys came along, like Fish and Baker Jr. Their fathers were Calypsonians, and they continue into it.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I look at Baker and Fish. I sang with their fathers, but I still look at Baker and Fish as seasoned Calypsonians. I don't consider them, you know, newcomers. I don't think they consider themselves newcomers. Calling them a newcomer, they would probably be.
But they're younger. Yes, I'm sorry, but they're much younger than your generation.
They're much younger in age, but in terms of product, they are, you know, they are forced to be.
Oh, no, I have them on the show many times. They're good. No doubt about it.
Those guys, you know, they're no newcomers at all.
Yeah, but when you look at today now, what you need to do to attract the next generation to Calypso, because if you don't do that, I think the last one is going to be who?
Well, we cannot allow it to die. We continue to work with it. Last year, I joined a summer camp, skills summer camp.
In St. Martin?
In St. Martin, a summer camp founded by Joan. Lord Joan, forgive me, I can't think of your last name right now, but it's a after school program that she has, and every year she has a summer camp, and she invited me to come and teach the children Calypso. I did it last year. We wrote a song together, we recorded it, we released it, and then we did it again this year.
Yeah.
And you know, and the kids are very excited. But after the summer camp, the kids go back to school, and it's kind of like, you know, put on the back burner until next year again. So, and of course we have our jobs and our responsibilities, and it's a time-consuming effort. So um, until we get into the schools and get that program going, it will, unfortunately, it will stagnate.
So then, do you think that SCAF need to get in touch with the schools and start there then?
Yeah, actually, that's just a part of what SCAF is all about. SCAF is designed to revive all of that. There's within SCAF there, it's not completed yet, but within SCAF we have the board, and then inside of that we have committees, like a committee to deal with the schools, you know, a committee to deal with after school programs, you know, and it's a process. It'll take some years, but eventually SCAF will achieve exactly what you're referring to now, which is to keep the art form alive and flourishing.
So you're vice president, and who's president?
The president is Mr. Marvin Kingstonky Dollison. I'm the vice president. The secretary is Lady Baker. The treasurer is, Lord, I hope he don't get the hand on the money. Fish the mega boss. Fish, don't touch the money. And then we have two members at large, which are His Majesty Baker Jr. and X-Ray.
Oh, X-Ray is also there.
X-Ray is one of the boys, yes. He's assistant to the treasurer, Fish.
Okay. So with the schools getting involved, right? One of the issues I noticed is that Calypsonians are reluctant now to release songs because of the issue with social media and not getting any kind of funding. So you write the song, you perform, and then that's it.
Yeah, I think the first and foremost, the first challenge is the financial part. You know, it costs to make music. You know, sitting down and writing and creating is great, but then you have to put it into music, and then you have to go into the studio and you have to record it, and that costs money. And you want to recoup the money that you spend, and that becomes a challenge, because once you finish with the song and release it, back then you had copyrights, you know, you could do this, you met royalties from the radio, that's all gone. And when you release a song, it's free for everybody to take it and do whatever they want with it, you know. You I think the last carnival there, His Majesty Baker Jr. put a series of his songs on a USB stick. You know, the CD is gone out, so he produced a USB stick, and the last time I spoke to him, I asked him, how are the sales going? And his response was pretty much not like years ago.
Yeah.
People are not buying like before. So, and that's very discouraging when you know, well, it's not discouraging, but if you're doing it for the love of it and you don't expect any money out of it, it's cool. But if you scrape together what money you can to make it, and then you realize, hey, I just invested this and the returns are not there. If they call you and say, listen, we having shows this year, we want you on our tour, you could say, hey, great, I'm going to make back some money. But not even that is, you know, is happening like it used to. I remember I used to get called for shows around the world. I mean, I've been all over the place. Hey, Beau, we have a tour coming up. We want you to be an opening act, or we want you to be the star act, or whatever. That was great, but to say that happens now, yeah, I get a show in Sabre, I'll get a show in Stacia, maybe in Aruba, you know, but not like before. Not something you can recoup the monies that you spent from.
So what do you think could be done to at least bring it back partially to how it was before?
Yeah, I think our project of going into the schools and reviving it, I think that's important, because people get sick of us, you know. But I'm sick of hearing Bobo. I want to hear something new. I think if we get some new, young talent that resembles our music in some form or fashion, it should spark something in the population.
But also, you have to look at the financial part for many of you that perform over the years. And when I speak to artists in St. Martin, they tell me, look, if I go to the bank doesn't consider me as an artist fully employed, so I can't get a mortgage, I can't get a loan. Isn't that an issue that maybe needs to be looked at in
That is a big issue. There is no way we're going to get any financial support from a bank without collateral. So if you don't have collateral to put up as a guarantee from the bank, you're not going to get no help. Another thing is, we used to be able to go to a Bull Chan's or Motor World or whatever and say, listen, I'm producing such and such CD. I'm looking for sponsorship. I'm willing to offer you, this. I can do your commercials for a year or two for free or whatever, and they would help you financially. That stuff is no longer.
Really?
No, well, it's no longer.
Wow. Things have really changed, huh?
Have changed. I don't want to put Motor World in the spot because Motor World does do a lot of promotion, but it's not like I went to Motor World and I offer them some commercials and to support me financially. The Motor World, to the best of my knowledge, promotes their product out of Motor World. So they hire you. You don't go, you don't go asking them for help.
Not like the olden days.
No.
Yeah.
And I used to get a lot of calls from Motor World self. Actually, I used to get some support from Danny also, which is I forget names of these big supermarkets in
One called, what was that?
yeah.
Prime?
Prime, yeah. I hate to call names, but I used to get, great support from those kind of companies. But, times have changed.
And I remember there was a time when Calypsonians will be on the square performing for the cruise ship passengers.
Absolutely.
What about doing something like that again at the airport?
A lot of time those were St. Martin Tourist Office sponsored projects or events. So they would organize events for the pier or for the airport, and then they would select the artist, and and there would be a stipend. You'd get paid to do it. St. Martin Tourist Office took me around the world as a how you say, the face of St. Martin in entertainment.
Right.
They took me to Europe. They took me to Russia. They took me to the United States, South America. I think that's when they had a budget for that. That's not something that has been done lately.
Yeah, but we're still in the tourism business,
We are.
and we're putting very few dollars into it in terms of marketing.
That's a subject me and my wife discuss regularly, and I ask the same question too. Why? Like the last time I went to Aruba and it was off season, I'm like, wait a minute, why is this place so busy? But I got to watch what I say. But I drove through town the other day on Front Street and I rode from the Catholic cemetery till the over the bank.
Yeah.
And I don't recall seeing any tourists at all. And we're supposed to be a tourist island, but I just want to stick to Calypso because I don't want to step on nobody too.
I agree. Yeah. But no, I brought up because it's a way to help artists. So someone can organize it at the airport, at the port, and when a cruise ship comes in.
Exactly. Exactly.
It will help.
Exactly. I've been performing at one of the resorts now for about 25 years off and on, which is Oyster Bay Beach Resort. And the entertainment director who's been there, I think about 18 years, Miss Ingrid Bosney, she literally used to take the tours from the resort by bus down to Phillipsburg and keep events for them, whether it's on the boardwalk or in Front Street, because the resorts have tourists. But that has not happened lately. And I think that's something that all hotels can get involved in. Every hotel in St. Martin could say, listen, Wednesdays, bus tour, Phillipsburg, 12 to 2, lunch included, $20, or whatever it is. And those are the kind of things can uplift, or to the boardwalk. But, it seems nobody interested. And if I were younger or and I had the energy, I would go around to the hotels and be a creator or designer of that.
But I know your wife is in the hotel business, and she's the
been in the
manager
hotel
at the
business
big
all her
hotel.
life, yeah.
And I want to suggest something. Based on what you said a while ago, maybe all the hotels get together, right? And they work along with SCAF to at least once every other week or once a month, bring in a few Calypsonians to perform for the guests on their property.
Earl, that's a beautiful thing. I even thought of in Aruba there's Watapana and Sunny Festa. I even thought one time, we could do something on the square on a weekend evening where the hotels can bring, the tourists down. We'll have bands playing, local food sellings, and the Calypsonians and the entertainers will come and, do some fun events. All of those things are ideas in the pipeline for SCAF.
Yeah.
Because SCAF is a broad-based foundation. It's not just Calypso. The foundation is based around Calypsonians, but the articles of incorporation are very wide, and it includes all of those kind of things. But as a new organization, we're still wetting our feet, so we don't want to jump ahead of ourselves. Mm-hmm. But it's coming. It's coming. We intend to do all of those kind of fun events to interject in,
And I'm sure that after people watch you in this program and other shows, they'll have ideas. Don't underestimate the ideas of the public. I can tell you that from experience. Sometimes a guy walks up to you, he might have very little education, and he gave you an idea that you can run with.
It's a brilliant idea. Absolutely. I also would like to take this opportunity, since we're on a reputable program, that when it reaches that far and SCAF approaches the Phillipsburg, I can't remember the name, but it's the Phillipsburg Committee or something of that nature. We instead of just going to individual stores and saying we want to do this and we want to do that. I know there's a committee. I think Valentine is the head of it or something like that.
Phillipsburg Promotional,
something of that nature. Right. We want to work together with them too, because stores also have to get involved. It's good. There will be some financial cost to it, and hopefully they will also recoup their money, because once we get it going and it becomes a popular event for tourism on St. Martin, where Maho, Oyster Bay, Divi Little Bay Resort, and the smaller resorts can send their guests to, it can become an event that, and it's not an annual event, it's a monthly event. It's like, we can't start weekly, but it could be maybe the end of every month, once a month in the Phillipsburg area, local artists, local entertainment. And those are things that SCAF are looking at to revitalize the Calypso art form and entertainment in general for locals and tourists alike in St. Martin.
All right, in case you've just joined us, I'm Oral Gibbs here on Oral Gibbs Live. My guest is Mr. Leroy King Bobo Brooks. He's the reigning Calypsonian king, right?
That's correct.
12 times King holds a record. He's also vice president of SCAF. When we come back, we'll continue to speak with him right here on Oral Gibbs Live. Please stay with us. Right back.
In order to know what you want out of life, you need to observe, listen, and try it yourself. Promises, we can make it if we work together. That's just how it is. Let's stand strong, and serve the land. Working hard as one nation, yes we can. The more difficult it is to achieve, the more satisfying it is to make it. Just believe in us, we'll see you through it all. Oh, never give up. Oh, never give up. We can make it. Never forget those who were there for you. And if you dream big, you might just achieve it. The power to serve, standing for community. OGB, got the power to serve. The power to serve. We got the energy. OGB.
Make use of web mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/.
My guest on Oral Gibbs Live is Mr. Leroy King Bobo Brooks, the reigning Calypso King. St. Martin holds the record for 12 times king. He's also vice president of SCAF. We're here speaking with him on Oral Gibbs Live, and you can tune into us on YouTube. You can also subscribe, and then you will know when we upload the show. Just go to Oral Gibbs YouTube channel. We are also on Hot 99.9 FM radio station, and you can listen to our shows on this radio station. Also, we're in Simpson Bay on the Strip, the beautiful island of St. Martin. And my guest, Mr. Brooks, is my guest of the program. I said, Brooks, I try to keep it very formal, if you don't mind.
I know.
Yeah. So now that you have 2 years with SCAF and so forth, how often do you all meet? Do you all meet regularly, once a month, every other month?
The board meets the most. With the general membership, we try to meet maybe twice a year, because it's not really more. It's not necessary more than that. All information is dispersed via technology, as we would say. The board meets when there are events. We can meet up to 3-4 times a week. When there are no events, then we will meet maybe once a month. But we do have regular communications via, whether it be Zoom or WhatsApp or emails, and, Messenger. But we are in constant contact. Up to this morning, I spoke to the president, who is presently in Statia working as head of the fire department. So, and the information is dispersed between the board. We're all kept abreast of, everything that we're doing and that we plan to do, etc. So I would say communication in SCAF is top.
It's important.
Very important.
So anyone could be a member, or just Calypsonians?
I won't say Calypsonians only, but you have to have some musical capabilities to be a member. But just to say, a member for being a member's sake, we haven't reached that stage yet.
So if you have a guy who writes songs for Calypsonians, can he be a member then?
Absolutely, because that's musically inclined. So yeah, that is absolutely. Also, we welcome people with deep pockets. In other words, if you can contribute financially to the upliftment, of the organization, you get extraordinary status, extraordinary member.
Well, that's good. Do you all have membership dues?
Yes, we do. I don't want to jump ahead here, because those issues are squarely the responsibility of the president.
Okay.
Even as vice president, I would need his go ahead to discuss those kind of things. But there is a membership fee established, but not yet enforced.
Let me ask you: have you all met with the culture department?
We have not sat down, but we do have a close relationship with Ms. Clara Reyes, the culture department. Yes.
So I'm sure there are things that you all would like to bring to their attention.
We have, and as a matter of fact, Ms. Reyes has also, on numerous occasions, encouraged us to submit proposals and ideas that we would like to do that she could include in her cultural budget.
Yeah.
That we can carry out over the period of a year, the yearly action plan. So have we done so yet? I'm not at liberty to say, but I think that's still in the making. We're still working on that.
When you all got together for the first time 2 years ago, right? What surprised you the most from the Calypsonians?
That everybody showed up to the meeting.
Okay.
That everybody showed up to the
even
meeting.
Brad was there.
Oh, no, he was. I think I met him there. That was I wouldn't even say surprising. It was elating. It was elating, and what was very special was that everybody had something to say. They gave their input, and everybody was supportive. We didn't have any bickering. We did have some, I won't say disagreements, but some members felt that it would be better done this way than that way, which is good. Yeah. We weigh out the best. Unfortunately, there were a few Calypsonians that did not join, I guess for personal reasons that up to today they have not joined. So, but hopefully with time, I think once they see the benefits and the intentions of the organization.
Could it be that they're skeptical because of past experiences?
That's a possibility. I think some people also take a wait and see approach, because sometimes people say, "Oh, that's not gonna last. We've tried it already and it didn't work, so I don't think it's gonna work." And then hopefully they say, "Hey, wait a minute, it does look like it's going to materialize into something positive, so I will join."
There's a new president of the Cimarron Carnival Development Foundation, and it seems like he's very conscious of the cultural part of Carnival. And I'm not speaking for him, but we published the release that was sent to us, and I was surprised because in the analytics, we look at the numbers, over 2,000 plus people was looking at that release and his pictures.
Are you serious? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a great interest in what he said. And based on what he said, I think there's room for Calypso again in Carnival.
I'll tell you a little funny story about that. I met him one night in an area I was performing where he happened to be playing the Swaliga Drumper Band, because he's a member of the Swaliga Drumper Brass Band.
Oh, okay.
And I said, "Welcome, Mr. New President. I saw that you're going to bring back Calypsonian Carnival to what it used to be. So I'm glad to hear that, because we, the SCAF, would like to see steel band competition, hot dog eating competition, beer drinking competition, in between the events that we used to see years ago. Remember, like if you have a show in between, you have a lull,
right?
You can bring back those things." And I said, and I've always known you to be a man who loved Calypso. So we, the Calypsonians, are gonna write a 1-minute Calypso for you as an opener for Carnival Calypso competition. And on the night of the competition, you are gonna sing that 1-minute song. And he laughed. He said, "Write it, I'm gonna sing it." So we're looking forward to that also, because I know him to be, a fun guy.
Yeah.
And I think with some coaching, he'll be able to do it. And I think if he's able to do that, he's going to turn that night upside down.
Wow. I saw that interest, but I'm worried that you got to be really strong, because the way Carnival is now, it has gone so international, looking outside of the island instead of inward. He'd have a challenge ahead of him.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I thank God that he probably has, I can tell you that. But over the years, OG, the Carnival has gone from Carnival to, I can't even say to Bacchanal, but to International,
Yeah.
Because of COVID, it has slowed down a little bit. This year, we were able to focus more on local stuff.
Right.
Once the economy is back on its feet and things are back to normal, there's a very likely possibility that we're going to go back into those international shows and they do draw a lot of people, but at the same time, they take away from our shows also, because people are going to go out, and that's an amazing thing, people will go out to an $80, $100 show, but they won't pay $5 to come and see Calypso.
It tells you too, because I haven't been to the village in a while. But then I heard that in the village now, there's all kinds of food. And when we grew up, we went to school together, and we go to the village, it was our food. So you could go to all the different people, all the people, they were all people.
That's right.
I don't think it's like that anymore.
No, it's not. It's an international cuisine village now, you know. So, but thank God, there are still several booths that we can go and find our type of stuff, our people, our type of food and stuff like that. But yes, it has become very international.
It's a sign of what's around it's becoming, by the way.
That's
You know?
right. That's right.
I had Marcel Combs here, and Marcel Combs was a senator for over 20 years, and former Nelson Tilly was prime minister, and
Correct. Yes.
he was a minister also. And he said to me, you know, we brag about the melting pot of 100 and something plus nationalities. And he made a very interesting remark. He said, melting pot, when you cook down something disappear.
That's true.
You know?
That is so true.
And maybe we are sweet potato. And yesterday my wife was cooking the soup, but the sweet potato disappeared.
You got a sweet potato in it.
So, you never know. And he's right, because we might disappear after a while.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's true. You know, OG, I've given so much thought to what the cuisine is like in Carnival Village, and there's one thing in the Carnival Village up to this date that has not reached in there yet that surprises me.
What's that?
And Chinese food.
Really?
The day that I get in there, that's it. That's it. Because Orel, I tell you, people are looking at their pockets, and if they can find a Chinese food in there for $5 for a chicken leg with French fries and everything,
That's it.
and there's a $13 food here for rice and peas in Oxdale, we got a problem.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so.
But here they got shawarma and all those kind of things in Carnival Village now.
Yeah, you know, that shawarma thing, Abu Ghazi is, say what you want, Abu Ghazi has become wannabe. He's wannabe boys. He's from here. He here so long. I mean, he become a St. Martin now, you know. But at the same time, his food is, or his strong food is shawarma, you know. And he has a lot of following.
Yeah.
A lot of old people, young people, you name it, everybody like him. And everybody like Abu Ghazi because they know Abu Ghazi all their life.
So
From
everybody,
since he here.
yeah.
So.
So everybody goes to all the different food except the not Chinese, because that's not there yet.
I think somewhere along the line. OG, I don't want to say this, but if I could have figured out the recipe to make Chinese food, I would have opened a Chinese restaurant.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, huh? I have a brother-in-law that's a chef. And when he was younger, actually, he was at Hofstra University. He was the executive chef at Hofstra. And this man could cook Chinese food better than Chinese.
Are you serious?
But he's up in his 70s now. But I'm
okay.
sure if he was a young man, bringing him open a Chinese thing for
He can do
Carnival. Yeah, guy is great. Yeah.
That's it.
So you don't have to be Chinese to cook good Chinese food.
There you go. Thanks for that idea. I'm still going to look into the possibility.
What about the day when we have a Chinese and an Indian in Calypso?
Oh, that would be so good. Do you recall when we had the Dutchman, Olfie?
Oh, yes.
Oh man, that would be so great. I have a Chinese colleague. When I say colleague, he's a member of an organization I'm a member of, which is the Voluntary Corps. I tell you, if we could write for this guy to write a Calypso, he would join. He's so much fun, you know, and he's such a pleasant person, you know.
Yeah.
He's well liked, well accepted. He's social, and I could write a Calypso for he, and make sure that he beat bacon, fish, and just to get a laugh, out of it.
You know, it'll be interesting. Now we'll be talking. Maybe Scaff could work on a night, because we have this melting pot and we can't get away from it. Maybe we should introduce the different cultures to Calypso and have them perform in the night in the village and see what happens.
That's a great idea. As a matter of fact, one of the things that SCAF is presently trying to work on or trying to achieve is that the Calypso competition night becomes an event of SCAF and not of the Carnival Development Foundation. But that's a tall order because we've tried it.
About that?
Oh, we've been trying that for years. We've tried it with every single committee to say, listen, give us that night. Let us be our own problem, so to speak. We'll supply our own private. Sorry?
Rajuki is there now.
Yeah. Oh, you mean to get it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to talk to him.
The new guy is Rajuki, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
He seems
El Waldo Rajuki.
I'm sure he's open. He might be open to it.
Yeah. I think what's his name? His Calypso name is what? Mighty Dog or something like that. But that's the name we're giving him for Calypso. Yeah. But it's something we've been trying for years. And, we hope one day that we can develop into that. But then we're also going to need the support of the business community, the sponsorship, because we were talking about bringing back door prizes on the night of the Calypso competition. It could be a flat screen TV.
Right.
We cannot afford a car. But, we might be able to get a refrigerator, a stove, a television, a living room set, a dining room set, stuff that people can really use.
Right.
And that is affordable, because those things attract people to want to come to the village also outside of the show. And, it's just a door prize based on your ticket number and stuff like that, which is something we used to do many, many years ago. So we're trying to bring back those kind of things.
But you guys used to have your song out too early, and
Yes.
people look forward to that.
We have been doing it still, because this year I think more people released earlier than quite a while, but it's something, and then again it also depends on having your material ready on time, because I'm one of the type of guys that
You're always ready.
Yeah, sometimes I am, and then another year competition night is here and I ain't finished. I finished the music, but I ain't finished the lyrics yet, so. And I also wanted to mention to you about the Calypso tents that we are looking forward to bringing back. We did them quite some years ago with the assistance of the Mighty Brat, the Mighty Cat, and myself. It started out good, but weird out, but we would like to bring it back. We wanted to do it this year at Joe's place on Back Street. We had some discussions with him. Everything was in place. Unfortunately, the songs were not ready on time, so we were not able to do it. But we hope to do it next year.
What about your brother Tonka? Did you speak with him about anything?
Yeah, I spoke to him about those days, and what it was like, and he told me, it was a real nice event, but it's a lot of work. He said it's a lot of work, so you have to be all in.
He knows it.
Oh yeah,
He was there.
Yeah, absolutely. He was there 1989 and 1990. You cannot be the committee chairman or a full member of the committee and have a job too. In other words, you need a leave of absence from your job or a long vacation in order to do that work properly. So, according to him, if you're going in there, you got to go in with all hands, all feet on deck.
That year, he was involved in charge of everything, right? For 2 years, something like that.
Correct, yes. Was the president.
And it was a very successful year.
Very successful. Remember, those were 2 years where the stage was a circular stage in the center of the village. Yeah. Very nice days. Great memories, great memories.
Well, we are great people. We put ourselves down. We beat up on ourselves too much. If you look at us, and when we get into a difficult situation, we know how to get out.
That's right.
But unfortunate, we don't see ourselves like that anymore. It's sad.
Yeah. Well, we can swim. We have broad shoulders, and when we're how you say, when we're thrown in the deep waters, we know how to swim back to safety.
And the reason why I said it's in reference to your brother Tonko when he took over Carnival. What he did was proof that it could be done. And sometimes you see all this fighting taking place, and I can't understand why. And most of the times, it's with the Carnival Development Foundation and the Calypsonians. I hope now that Scarf is here, that those things will be something of the past.
Yes, we're working towards that. 100%. We would like to get along, not go along. We really want to get along. I remember in Tonka, by the way, Tonka's, for those that don't know, Tonka's my oldest brother. I remember him saying to me, he calls me Lee.
Yeah.
For Leroy. Lee, I'm going to keep this carnival local. And that's something he did. Those 2 years, the carnival was all local events. The furthest I can remember, I could be wrong, but the furthest I can remember people came from as performers was Anguilla. The Anguilla bands and those guys. But everything was geared towards us. It wasn't international.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be. I think that his concept was the best for Carnival. Unfortunately, that's how I see it.
I agree.
Yeah. So
if you're listening to me, my brother, I agree.
Yeah. So we almost out of time. Anything else you want to add in closing?
No, I would like to I would like to shout out to our board, the SCAF, that guys, we started this and we have to finish it. We're doing a great job. You all are doing a great job. I think together we will make this work, and we're gonna turn this art form around, because we all know it's struggling. In a lot of countries they say Calypso's dead, but here in St. Martin, we are going to make sure that we're going to prove them wrong. We are going to keep Calypso alive. We're going to go into the schools. We're going to pick out some of the youngsters, and we're going to, I don't want to say turn it around, because it's not going in the wrong direction. It just needs some strengthening. So to my board, not to my board, to the board, Mr. President Stonky, Mr. Treasurer, the Mighty Fish, Assistant Treasurer, X-Ray, to our Secretary, Lady Baker, and Assistant Secretary, His Majesty Baker Jr., and to myself as Vice President, King Bobo. I would like to commit and make a promise to the people of St. Martin that we are going to keep Calypso alive.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and much success. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And that's it for now. I'll see you next time right here on Oral Gibbs Live. Until then, take care. Bye.